Distinguished guests, friends, and family of the Bull City Battalion, good morning and thank you for attending the Duke University and North Carolina Central University Spring 2023 commissioning ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and the 2023 commissioning class.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit back down. Just tell them we're gonna start in like 2-3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry. If you could take your seat again, we're gonna start in 2 to 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and the 2023 commissioning class. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation delivered by Chaplain Colonel Retired Jim Goodwill.
pray. Gracious God, we have gathered this morning to celebrate a great event in the lives of these cadets. Their commissioning as second lieutenants in the United States Army. This event would not be possible had it not been for their hard work and the love, support, and sacrifices of their families and loved ones. We ask that you look with favor upon this proceeding and your blessing upon each of those who receive their gold bar. Install in them an appreciation for what they have learned and for the privilege of leading our great Army in the defense of our nation. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Goodwill. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please join us in watching a video covering the journey these soon-to-be second lieutenants have taken to accomplish their goals. Distinguished guests, family, and friends of the Bull City Battalion, today is a special day for our seniors as they begin the next chapter in their professional lives. Today, we have the privilege of commissioning 11 of them into the profession of arms as second lieutenants in the United States Army. Please join me in welcoming the Professor of Military Science for the Duke University and North Carolina Central University Army ROTC program, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Wacko.
Good morning, Major General Higgins, distinguished guests, family, friends, and our newest group of soon-to-be second lieutenants. Thank you for joining us today for the 2023 commissioning ceremony of the Duke University and North Carolina Central University Army ROTC programs. It's an honor to be here for such a significant milestone in the lives of these young Army leaders. I've said it many times over the course of my career, but it's a great day in the Army anytime we have the opportunity to promote, re-enlist, or recognize excellence in any of the members of our formation. And today, this morning, it's no different. Today we have the honor to commission 11 remarkable young men and women into service to our nation as commissioned officers. And that's an exciting day here in the Bull City Battalion. So first, I want to take a moment to thank the families and friends of these fine young men and women that sit over here to my left and to your right. These cadets' dedication and drive to succeed academically, to show their capability to learn the art and science of leadership, and their desire to serve something greater than themselves is a direct byproduct of your love, your support, and your leadership in their lives. The values that made them successful in their preparation to lead our nation's soldiers were instilled in them long before they arrived here today in these chairs, and you played an integral part in that process. So, Bull City Battalion commissionees, let's give a round of applause and appreciation for those who helped you get to this point in your young lives today. To the Bull City Battalion cadre and staff team here at Duke and North Carolina Central University, thank you for your time, your knowledge, your energy in preparing these future leaders for what lies ahead. Well done. To the faculty and staff of the Duke and North Carolina Central University communities, thank you for your hard work in shaping the hearts and minds of these young leaders, for educating and training them to be successful in whatever lies ahead, personally and professionally. So to the faculty and staff of these great universities, a heartfelt thank you from the Bull City Battalion cadre, staff, and these new young officers. Bull City Battalion, for the last 4 to 6 years, you've grown as young men and women of character. You've learned to excel while balancing the demands of education, leadership development, physical training, working jobs, forging new relationships, and in several cases, starting young families. You've applied the basics of leadership, influencing people to accomplish the mission under challenging circumstances. For those accomplishments and for that growth, we say well done and congratulations. As we commission you to lead the next generation of soldiers in our active, reserve, and National Guard forces, we know that you are well equipped to lead with courage and compassion, to lead with hands-on, muddy boots, and tangible leadership where and when you are needed. This is the leadership that your nation and your soldiers require of you. For these responsibilities you are undertaking, we say go forth. Our nation is in good hands. It's been an honor and privilege to be part of your education and your development, and we wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations, go forth and do great things. It's an honor to introduce you this morning, our guest of honor and speaker this morning, Major General Retired Higgins, commissioned from West Point on the 7th of June, 1972, as a second lieutenant of the infantry. General Higgins served as an infantry rifle platoon leader, Ranger platoon leader, commanded an infantry rifle company, 2 infantry battalions, an infantry brigade, and an infantry division, the 2nd Infantry Division from 2004 to 2006. Future leaders in the Army, he has earned your respect and your attention as he gives you some comments and some life lessons that will shape the next chapter of your Army leadership. And to those of us in the Bull City Battalion family, we're honored to have Major General Retired Higgins deliver our keynote address this morning. He's a devoted husband and father of 2 commissioned Army officers, and we are delighted to have him this morning. Major General Retired Higgins, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it? It's a wonderful day to become a commissioned officer. And it's Friday, which means you got the whole weekend to celebrate, right? Don't forget something. Nothing good happens after midnight, okay? Lieutenant Colonel Wakab, thank you so much for those kind introductory remarks. I know you made most of that up, but thanks anyway, okay? I want to add my welcome to all those who turned out this morning to witness and share in both the happiness and solemnity of this important event. Happiness, because in a sense, this commissioning ceremony is the culmination of a great deal of effort and hard work on the parts of both the cadets who are taking the commissioning oath and the faculty that helped them get to where they are. The faculty has made enormous investments in these cadets to get them ready to serve as the leader of our soldiers. I say this is also a solemn event, solemn in the sense of serious and deep sincerity, because the commissioning oath is both an affirmation and acceptance of a sacred trust. This event also reminds me of a line from Toby Keith's song, New Orleans. There's a few defining moments in every person's life when you know what you've done wrong and you know when you've done right. I am confident that this commissioning oath ceremony is one of those moments when, at some point, these senior cadets will come to regard as a defining moment in their lives. This business of a defining moment reminds me of a soldier's story. Seems that along with several hundred other American soldiers, 3 American soldiers found themselves as prisoners of war: a general, a warrant officer, and a command sergeant major. All was well until one day the commandant of the POW camp arrived with some good news and some bad news. The commandant announced that the bad news was that all 3 of the prisoners were to be shot at dawn the next day. The good news was that the commandant was there to ask each prisoner what his last wish might be. When the commandant asked the warrant officer, an Apache pilot, what last wish he would like fulfilled, without hesitating, the warrant officer said he'd like a candlelight dinner with a beautiful blonde. Commandant immediately snapped back, "You've got it." Next, he asked the general what his last wish might be, and the general, with a faraway look in his eyes, said he would like to address the troops one final time. "Approved," said the commandant. Finally, the commandant asked the command sergeant major what last wish he would like fulfilled. Sergeant major rubbed his chin, thought for a moment, and then said, "I'd like to be shot 1 hour before the general starts talking." Underlying this apocryphal and humorous story is a subliminal message that I would like to share with the ROTC cadets who are about to become commissioned officers. This story invites you to remember to take what you do seriously. Your responsibilities, your obligations, and your duties, but not to take yourself very seriously. In my hand here, I have a copy of the commissioning oath that my father, who was an infantry rifle platoon leader in Company A, 20th Infantry Regiment, 6th Infantry Division, on Luzon fighting the Japanese in January and February 1945, used to administer the commissioning oath to me when my parents pinned second lieutenant bars on my uniform. My dad signed and dated the bottom of the commissioning oath, and I used this same 51-year-old and treasured piece of paper to administer the commissioning oath to both my sons who are serving in the Army today. Raising your right hand and taking the commissioning oath is both a solemn and sacred undertaking, which is probably best succinctly captured by the words offered by retired Lieutenant General Alfred Jenkins, who said, "To our subordinates, we owe everything that we are or hope to be. For it is our subordinates, not our superiors, who raise us to the dizziest of professional heights. And it is our subordinates who can and will, if we deserve it, bury us in the deepest mire of disgrace. When the chips are down and our subordinates have accepted us as their leader, we don't need any superior telling us. We see it in their eyes and in their faces, in the barracks, out in the field during training, and on the battlefield. And on that fatal day, when we must be ruthlessly demanding, cruel, and heartless, they will rise as one to do our bidding, knowing full well that it may be the last act in their life." Another way to think about the sacred nature and solemn responsibilities of becoming a commissioned officer is reflected in the observation of Major James W. Bella, who served during World War II. He wrote, "The health and resilient life of an army throbs in the hearts of its junior officers or dies there. In them is reposed the immediate and close command and leadership of their soldiers. They lead personally at the front. After all the plans are laid and the details worked out, it is the lieutenant who faces his or her soldiers and says, 'This platoon will.' It's an awesome leadership responsibility and privilege to lead American soldiers. As General George C. Marshall, who served as the Army Chief of Staff throughout World War II, and later as both the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense, once observed about serving as a servant of the American people, he said, 'You will often be misunderstood. You will frequently find the democratic process of this country difficult to assimilate in a military pattern. But never forget that this is a democracy, and you are the servants of the people. And whatever complications that may arise, you have a duty to your country which not only involves the final sacrifice if necessary, but a generous understanding of the role of an officer in the army of a great democracy.' General Marshall's avowal that military officers are servants of the people reminds me of an astute observation made by Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister throughout World War II, an observation that has shaped both my professional and personal life. Churchill said, 'We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give.' At this point, I was going to ask the cadets to stand and receive a round of applause, but instead, I'm going to ask the families of these cadets to stand. Please stand if you are a member of the family of these cadets. Cadets, I'd like you to stand up, and give them a hand. Sit down. I want to close my remarks at this point in this defining moment by first predicting that this defining moment will be one of those moments in your life when you know what you have done right, and second, by congratulating each of you and extending to you the very best wishes for you and your future success as you take on the awesome responsibility and privilege of leading American soldiers. I have one final thought I want to leave you with this morning. It is something to be remembered as you both lead and serve the soldiers who have placed their trust and their lives in your professionally competent leadership. This is the title of my autobiography. Soldiering is an affair of the heart. All the best to you. Why don't we make some lieutenants? What do you think?
Major General Retired Higgins, on behalf of the Bull City Battalion Army ROTC program, we present you this token of our appreciation for providing these soon-to-be second lieutenants your words of wisdom. It is now time for our commissionees to receive the oath of office, to have their second lieutenant rank pinned onto their uniforms, and to receive their first salute. The commissioning ceremony is a time-honored tradition that signifies a new officer joining the profession of arms. This ceremony is the visible transformation from cadet to officer. After taking the oath of office, each officer is invited family and friends to pin on their new rank to their uniform. Each newly commissioned officer will receive their first salute and give a silver dollar to the first enlisted person who salutes them. The first salute has special significance. It represents the symbolic receipt of respect due to the officer's newly earned rank and position. The coin signifies the deep respect the new officer has for the enlisted members of their team. It is a promise from the officer to the enlisted personnel to protect, lead, and develop that unit to the best of his or her abilities. We will now begin the individual commissioning ceremonies. Captain Summers will now administer the oath of office to Cadet Emily Chu, Cadet John Clatworthy, Cadet Anna Everhart, Cadet Robert Gilmore, Cadet Will Newsom, Cadet Corey McAlston, and Cadet Logan Tarman. At this time, Second Lieutenant Chu will be pinned by her parents, Alan and Jennifer Chu. Second Lieutenant Emily Chu earned her BS in biology with a concentration in neurobiology and a minor in chemistry from Duke University. Lieutenant Chu served as the Battalion S3 and Battalion Commanding Officer. During her time in the battalion, Lieutenant Chu received the George C. Marshall Award. She will enter the North Carolina National Guard as a Signal Corps officer as she attends medical school. Lieutenant Chu hails from Waukesha, Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Emily Chu. At this time, Second Lieutenant Chu will receive her first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. At this time, Second Lieutenant Clatworthy will be pinned by his parents, John and Stephanie Clatworthy. Second Lieutenant John Clatworthy earned his BA in Public Policy from Duke University. Lieutenant Clatworthy served as the Battalion S1 and Battalion Assistant S4. He will enter active duty as a Signal Corps officer with a branch detail to Field Artillery. Lieutenant Clatworthy hails from Hockessin, Delaware. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant John Clatworthy. At this time, Second Lieutenant Clatworthy will receive his first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. At this time, Second Lieutenant Everhart will be pinned by her sisters, Mary and Ella Everhart. Second Lieutenant Anna Everhart earned her BA in Public Policy with minors in Chemistry and History from Duke University. Lieutenant Everhart served as the Battalion S1 and Battalion S6. Following commissioning, she will enter the U.S. Army Reserve. Lieutenant Everhart hails from Monument, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Anna Everhart. At this time, Second Lieutenant Everhart will receive her first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. At this time, Second Lieutenant Gilmore will be pinned by his father, Scott, and grandfather, Jack Gilmore. Second Lieutenant Robert Gilmore earned his BS in Political Science and Finance from Duke University. Lieutenant Gilmore served as the Battalion Command Sergeant Major, Battalion S5, and Battalion S3. He will enter the U.S. Army Reserve as a Military Police Corps officer. Lieutenant Gilmore hails from Wadmalaw Island, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Robert Gilmore. At this time, Second Lieutenant Gilmore will receive his first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. At this time, Second Lieutenant McAlston will be pinned by his friend, Specialist Ryan Dozier, and his wife, Decatur McAlston. Second Lieutenant Corey McAlston received his BA in Criminal Justice from North Carolina Central University. Lieutenant McAlston served as the Battalion Commander and Battalion Assistant S2. In addition to ROTC, he also served in the National Guard for 4.5 years, earning the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal and Inherent Resolve Campaign Medal. He will enter active duty as an Ordnance Corps officer. Lieutenant McAlston hails from Wilson, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Corey McAlliston. At this time, Second Lieutenant McAlliston will receive his first salute from Specialist Dominic Dunn. At this time, Second Lieutenant Newsom will be pinned by his mother, Lasagna Brooks. Second Lieutenant Will Newsom earned his BA in Business Administration from North Carolina Central University. Lieutenant Newsom served as the Battalion S4 and Battalion Assistant S1. In addition to ROTC, Newsom also served in the National Guard for 4.5 years. He will enter active duty as an Ordnance Corps officer. Lieutenant Newsom hails from Goldsboro, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Will Newsom. At this time, Second Lieutenant Newsom will receive his first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. At this time, Second Lieutenant Tarman will be pinned by his parents, Gregory and Catherine Tarman. Second Lieutenant Tarman earned his BS in Biomedical Engineering from Duke University. Lieutenant Tarman served as the Battalion Training Officer in Battalion S5. He will enter the U.S. Army Reserve as a Signal Corps officer. Lieutenant Tarman hails from Grand Junction, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Logan Tarman. At this time, Second Lieutenant Tarman will receive his first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. First Lieutenant Mike Harris will now administer the oath of office to Cadet Ralph Clinkscales. At this time, Second Lieutenant Clinkscales will be pinned by his grandfather, First Sergeant retired Ralph Clinkscales Sr., and his National Guard recruiter, Sergeant First Class Campbell. Second Lieutenant Ralph Clinkscales earned his BA in Business Administration from North Carolina Central University. Lieutenant Clinkscales served as the Battalion S2 and Battalion S6. In addition to ROTC, Lieutenant Clinkscales has also served for 3.5 years in the National Guard, earning the Army Service Ribbon and the National Defense Service Medal. He will enter active duty as a Medical Service Corps officer. Upon graduating Bullock, he will serve as the XO at the 560th Med Company, 65th Medical Brigade in Camp Casey, Korea. Lieutenant Clinkscales hails from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Ralph Clinkscales. At this time, Second Lieutenant Clinkscales will receive his first salute from his grandfather, First Sergeant Retired Ralph Clinkscales. Second Lieutenant Carla McCord will now administer the oath of office to Cadet Cameron Grissom. At this time, Second Lieutenant Grissom will be pinned by her mother, First Sergeant Retired Michelle Grissom, and fiance Jimmy Jones Jr. Second Lieutenant Cameron Grissom earned her BS in Public Health from North Carolina Central University. Lieutenant Grissom served as the Battalion Command Sergeant Major. In addition to ROTC, Lieutenant Grissom has also served in the National Guard for 5 years. She will enter the North Carolina National Guard as a Quartermaster Corps officer. Lieutenant Grissom hails from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Cameron Grissom. At this time, Second Lieutenant Grissom will receive her first salute from her brother, Sergeant Promotable Quentin Grissom. Lieutenant Colonel Retired Matthew May will now administer the oath of office to his daughter, Cadet Lauren May. At this time, Second Lieutenant May will be pinned by her mother, Karen Twig May. Second Lieutenant May earned her BS in Computer Science with a minor in Mathematics from Duke University. Lieutenant May served as the Battalion S6 and Battalion Assistant S3. She will enter active duty as a Cyber Corps officer. Lieutenant May hails from Park Ridge, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Lauren May. At this time, Second Lieutenant May will receive her first salute from Specialist Chris Felines. Colonel Ricardo Ong will now administer the oath of office to his son, Cadet Ethan Ong. At this time, Second Lieutenant Ong will be pinned by his parents, Colonel Ricardo and Kathleen Ong. Second Lieutenant Ethan Ong earned his BS in Evolutionary Anthropology with a concentration in Anatomy and a minor in Chemistry from Duke University. Lieutenant Ong served as the Battalion Commander and Battalion Assistant S3. He is a graduate of Combat Diver Qualification Course and Air Assault School and is a distinguished military graduate. He will enter active duty as an infantry officer. Cadet Ong hails from Southern Pines, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Second Lieutenant Ethan Ong. At this time, Second Lieutenant Ong will receive his first salute from Senior Chief Petty Officer Retired Frank Arnott. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in congratulating and welcoming our new lieutenants to the profession of arms with a warm round of applause. Please stand for the singing of the Army Song. The words for the Army Song can be found in your program.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cages loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Congratulations again to the Bull City Battalion commissioning class of 2023. Please join us for refreshments outside. Thank you.
I'm with Student Affairs, and also Student Veterans, and there's a box of bags that we put together for all the graduates and missionaries.
Oh, that's great. Do you need anything on that, or?
No, not at all. It's just right outside. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Oh, sir.